Okay, with regard to term 4, listen close. The reason I walked around and asked you your goal is this. For the grade, absolute certainty. Term 4 is going to be your favorite term because it's what everybody, in my opinion, what every human being longs for. They long to be rewarded for hard work. Like, it's frustrating when you put in a lot of hard work and you don't quite hit the test, score you want, so you don't get the grade that you necessarily desire. In term 4, you don't have to worry about that. There are 3 ways you can get an A in term 4. Okay, 1, just come and play the game so much that you earn 20% extra credit, and then virtually guaranteed you'll end up with an A. Okay, I've seen it happen for years. So that's one way you can get there. The good news is those people who earned the 20% extra credit, they all got like 4s or 5s on the AP test.
Were they also kids who already had 100% in the class?
So one student, I've done this differently each year. This year will be a little different, but that particular year we didn't do as many practice tests, and I did several of them as take-home tests, and honestly, he got 0 on those take-home tests. But he did kind of a last take-home test, and he played the game so much he earned like really close to 20% extra credit, got a 4 on the AP test, and got an A. So one way to get an A is literally play the game so much that even if your test scores aren't quite where you think they should be, it won't matter. It doesn't usually happen. When you play the game, usually everything just goes with it. But okay, second way you can get an A, look up. Look at me. Yes, like by the time you take the last practice test, score a 5 on that practice test. You can get an A that way. So that's kind of the more standard route. The third way to get an A is to simply show the right amount of progress over the next 45 days. Here's what I mean. So we're 19 now and 45. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's stressing me out.
Look at the board. Look at these numbers right here. Okay. The entire multiple choice section is made up of 45 problems, okay? If you can get 20 of them right, meaning you missed 25 of them, you are on pace for a 3. Okay, you've got to do something similar in the FRQ, but you are on pace for a 3. Okay? Now come on, look. In the FRQ section, 24 out of 54 points. You can lose 30 of the points and you're on pace. Now, the most important part about showing you this is, from this day forward, the only thing you're going to be doing as like in class as official assignments, there'll be some extra credit things, are AP testing, like legitimate AP practice tests. For example, when you come to class on Monday, you walk in the room, the dividers will be on the tables, you will start right away and you'll be working on the non-calculator multiple choice section of the test. So that's what will take place on Monday, the non-calculator multiple choice section. It's a little bit older test, it's 2012, so it consists of 28 questions, okay, and you have 55 minutes to work those 28 questions. Listen, come on, listen. Your goal is not to do all of them. You've got to get that out of your head. Your goal is to do all the easy ones first and try to get as many as you can. If you can get 12 out of 28 right, you miss 16 of them, you're on pace for a 3. Okay, and it's just your first practice test. Kind of have to see how this goes, but we will take between 5 and 7 full practice tests over the next, 19 class days, 45 working days, okay? So Monday is just the start. Okay? It really doesn't matter what you score on Monday, as long as you do it honestly as best you can. Like if you give it an honest effort, whatever score you get, it doesn't matter. Because, okay, here's a quiz for the whole room. Really easy extra credit quiz. Don't laugh because of the easiness of the quiz. Please note, we're going to take at least 5 practice tests. Let's say theoretically you work day by day, either playing the game or working at home to get better and better as we work through these practice tests. And over 5 practice tests, how much improvement do you need to show per test? Just raise your hand if you know the answer to this. Don't laugh too hard at the simplicity. How much improvement do you have to show per test to get from a 3 to a 5 in this 45-day period? Don't overthink it. How much improvement? How much improvement per test? If you raise your hand and answer it, I will pay you pebbles. How much improvement? It's not a trick question. How much improvement must you show?
Not being tricked.
It's not. You're not being tricked. How much improvement must you show per test? Per test. If we take 5 practice tests from Monday over, till the AP test, how much improvement? Preston. How much improvement per test must you show?
You know what? 2. I want to go with 2.
2 points per test. How many knew that? 2 pebbles. Okay, mark them down.
I didn't know it.
Mark them down. Look at me. Hey. Just to make the math easy, let's say we have 6 practice tests between now and May 14th. How much improvement in the FRQ section must you make test by test to get from a 3 all the way to a 5? Okay? How much improvement must you make test by test to get from a 3 to a, hands up, I'll pay, come on. 6 practice tests. Y'all look at me like I'm stupid. How much improvement, Anna Kate?
2 points.
How many knew it? 2 pebbles, okay. Listen. Okay. Look at me, come on. The point is really simple, but I hope it is making sense to you. Okay? If you try to do nothing over the next 45 days, you won't pass the test. But if you focus on, hey, 1 little test at a time, just a couple of points at a time, you can do that. Everyone can do that. Okay? Everyone. Passing the AP test, there's a lot of people who will say things like, what are the chances that I can pass the AP test? My answer is 100%. All you have to do is do the work. But you have to do it day by day. The biggest mistake people make is they try to do it all at once. That doesn't work. Okay? Just day by day. It really is the same. It is. Okay, understand? So getting an A, come play the game so much you get 2,000 pebbles, you're probably all set. Okay? Nothing to worry about. You'll get a good score on the AP test as well. As long as you show this kind of improvement over the next 45 days, I will find a way to reward you with an A. Like you literally show, 2 points per multiple choice practice test. You show 2 points per FRQ test, legitimately. I'll find a way to make sure you have an A. Usually I don't have to do anything, because it just happens automatically. Do you understand? Please.
So you can miss 15 and still get 5 on like the multiple choice one.
Correct. As long as you maintain the same pace on the FRQ, of course. But yes. No, those are real. And these goals are a little bit high. Better to have you shoot just a little above. So
is it like those numbers that they change every year? Like
they change a little bit. So I've kind of gone through and picked out ones that were just a little bit high, and then I also picked ones that are a little bit symmetric to make it easy for you to remember. But no, this is very accurate. So please, Rich.
When you take the final test, is your overall score the average of the 2, or?
For the actual AP test?
Yeah.
No, it's just an accumulation of points.
Okay.
So literally, it doesn't matter how you earn the points. You're trying to get.
Oh, it says it right there.
Yeah, this shows
Okay.
how it's scored. So.
Okay, never mind.
Other questions?
So if I got like 45 points on the in one section.
Yeah, you can be heavier on one than the other. It's not an average, so.
Okay, so for the multiple choice, now the actual one, so the 2012 one, that was like an old test, right? So now how long do you have to do the multiple choice questions?
So the timing is actually the same. What changed was, instead of getting 55 minutes to do 28 questions, you'll have 30 questions and 60 minutes.
Okay.
So it really is the same timing per
Okay,
problem.
sounds great.
Yeah. And then the calculator section is 15 questions, and you get 45 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Over here, you had 17 questions, and you got 50 minutes.
Okay, that makes
So the newer test is a bit more symmetric. It's easier to remember. So,
Thank you.
anybody else?
Yeah, but
Okay, look at me. Hey, look. Okay, for this series of practice tests that we do, like 5 to 7 of them, if you show the right kind of progress, just a couple of points per test, right, legitimately, please, look, just a caution, don't end up looking stupid. Like, I've had people who, when I gave them a take-home FRQ test, it came back and like, oh my gosh, like, all you did was copy the scoring guide. Like, don't end up looking stupid, okay? Just be honest about it. If you honestly progress as you should, none of the early practice tests will count on your grade at all. Like, they just get dropped. Like, every time you make a step upward, we just drop the previous. Simple. There's no reason to count this test if the next test is better. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this term is the best term because it's just practice testing and you're just working to get better. Getting better is really, really easy. If you can find time in your schedule and it helps you, you come and play the game. When we play the game, we just work problems and discuss them. For a lot of people, it's the best way to get better because it's lower stress, it's more fun, you're with other people. We end the game with a music quiz. Works really well. For those who don't like that environment or can't find time to come, you can do the same thing at home. You're not going to get better by reading over problems. You get better by doing problems. So like right now, you have 60 problems that you can practice of multiple choice. You have a full FRQ test that you can practice at home because you have the answers to all of them, the solutions, right? Just make sure when you practice, don't do this. Don't like read a problem, figure it out, do it. That's not going to make the memory permanent. Figure out the problems in one kind of little sitting. Let some time go by, a few hours at least, overnight is better. Then redo the problems. But redoing makes you better. Reading doesn't. It's not useful. Questions about term 4? Cool. Please.
Wait, sorry. Like the game things. Like, do you ever do videos of those?
No, because the questions I use, not all the questions, but a lot of the questions I'll end up using in the game, I'm not allowed to make public, so they can only be practiced here.
like,
That's just the AP rule, because they'll come from very recent practice tests, which I'm not allowed to let you keep. Kind of like how we did during the year, right? You had to always keep your test here. That's just the AP rules. So no, I don't typically have like a video thing you can do, but I will give you packets you can do at home, which can help you get better. The other thing that works really well in term 4 is because we're just doing practice tests, you just keep an eye on your progress. It's just like cross country. You just watch it and you say, oh, here's my time. How well did I do? What can I do to work to get better? It's really simple. So, other questions? Awesome. Okay, so be prepared. Yeah, there goes. So, move on, right?
no, it's like,
Dang. So,
I told him to go.
ready? Maddie's a bit in danger.
He's prepared.
I got it. Go.
Ready?
Oh,
Okay.
I stuck grid
I was like, so
Did you see that?
Stuck it.
Hey.
So, Monday is the start of all this. I can't do the game today after school because B-Day students are still finishing the white test. Same thing tomorrow morning before school. Watch for the text. I will try and have a round of the game after school tomorrow and possibly even on Saturday. So watch for that. Questions?
Say that one more time.
So if, I'm gonna try and have a round of the game Friday after school,
Okay.
and also hopefully Saturday. Okay?
When Saturday? Morning?
I'll let you know, probably morning, although sometimes I pull the text world and I just say, what time works best for you? And based on what people tell me in my schedule, I pick the best time, so. Awesome. Okay, so the rest of today, I just want to go through some of the problems on the white test. So looking at what got missed the most, we'll look at number 7 first.
Yeah? I got this thing about it.
You know what? They say the letter A. She's like, you think I might just say keep saying the letter A, but just keep tissue box. It's incognito. It blends in.
Should be right.
And it will just disappear. It should be
Right. Low-key, I think. No, I got this.
Mine's to my car, so no one will take it.
If someone takes mine, that's just dishonest. On top of that, you could go take so many more. But why would you take mine? There's literally generators.
You are correct.
Don't hurt me.
That is the point. There's no point to being dishonest.
Especially in this class, you can cheat in this class like a bazillion times.
Yeah, and you know what happens? Like you end up being the person, like, listen, it's only happened a couple of times, but you just look stupid. Like I can think of 2 people over 12 years, okay, 11 I guess, who they just flat out cheated. Like they got scores during this term 4 that indicated they were on track for a 5, and then they earned a 1. Okay, nobody has that bad of a day. It's just, they just look stupid. Like, if you want to look stupid, fine. Go for it. It won't bother me. I'll just remember you as one of the 3 now. So, yeah. This one was missed.
Sounds better than 2. Trio.
Okay, we're also to the point in the year where it doesn't really help. Look, if you miss a problem, it's not going to help for me to explain it again. Like we've already done a lot of that. What's going to help is if you look through it and go, oh, wait a minute. I don't know how you knew to do that. You asked me to explain it, then I will help you. Or like you got to come up with things to ask, and I will help any way I can. But me just going through the problem again isn't helpful. So reviewing calculus is not a useful exercise. So anyone have anything they want to ask about number 7? 7 was missed by quite a few people.
So I know that like they give you x equals 0 and x equals 2, so those are your boundaries on the integral. But then when you're trying to plug in e to the x over 2, I was kind of confused about how to apply the antiderivative rules to that situation.
Oh, no, very good. So one thing I'm pretty consistent at is I prefer multiplication to division.
Right.
So instead of thinking of it as e to the x over 2, I do better if I think of it as e to the 1/2 x.
Right.
So are you okay to hear that this is the integral we want to set up?
Yes.
So then I said, okay, I need this antiderivative, but this is just e to the ax plus b.
Oh.
So I used the extended e rule. So when I did the antiderivative, I have 1 over a, e to the x plus b, bar 0 to 2. That answer your question? 2 pebbles for Avery. Anybody else? Please, Rachel.
I kind of had a hard time figuring out which was on top and which was on bottom. I mean, I had a feeling that the E was on top, but I kind of felt like I was guessing a little bit there.
Pebbles for the whole room. As soon as I read this, e to the x over 2, I immediately remember a key flashcard. Who knows what I'm talking about? Show me your hands. Come on. I'll pay everybody to know. Whenever I see every AP problem, if I see e to some exponent, I always remember this. E to some exponent, Isaac.
Is it like, it's gonna be positive every time?
Is always positive. How many knew it? 2 pebbles. Yeah, so e to any exponent is always a positive number. So, let's see, the way I would have done this, Rachel, is I would read slow and careful. So the region bounded by x equals 0, I'd draw that line. X equals 2, I'd draw that line. Y equals 0. And then I would remember, e to the exponent is always positive, so it has to be above. 2 pebbles for Rachel, please.
If we didn't use substitution, is that like, did that just make it harder, or was it like?
Not necessarily. It's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Either way. For Allison, wave if you want me to stay here longer, otherwise we'll go to the next one. Please.
Is there, I kind of sometimes confuse the ln rules and the e rules. Is ln to a negative undefined? Because I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
when
ln
I
of-
was,
go
when I was
ahead.
plugging in 0 for the other one to find the e to the x squared minus, well, 2 where you plug in the 2 and then subtract where you plug in the 0. I was like, oh, is that undefined? And again, I kind of just felt like it wasn't, so I went with that. But I was will you ever see problems like this where it's undefined or no?
Yeah, you are mixing up the ln and the e. So on your golden notes, down here at the bottom, it has a bunch of reminders about that. I don't think I put, yeah, natural log of 0 or any negative is undefined. That's not on here, but natural log of 0 or
Any negative?
any negative.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't.
More for Rachel. Anybody else? Look at another one. Look at number 10. Okay, again, your mindset has to be, you're just trying to get a little bit better each time. Now, Monday actually is just the start. So whatever you get on Monday, it doesn't, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. As long as you do an honest effort to do your best. So you get off to a good start. But
Are all of these like answers that you're showing somewhere? Or is it like?
oh, thank you. So this one, these problems are old enough I can post these. So after B-Day tomorrow, I will post these solutions. So the entire white test, just like the green packet, will be on my website. So, I don't like doing things that don't help. I hate busy work. I try not to assign it. Hands up if you use the green solutions. Just I want to see how many use the green solution. Hands up if you found it helpful. Anything you want to talk about here, I'll help with any of it, but you have to kind of dig it out.
Could you scroll down a little bit?
Uh-huh. Please.
I was just like asking when you have a negative, like the top minus the bottom, when the bottom's like a big thing, like x squared plus 1, when should you put the negative into it? Do you know what I mean? When should you distribute it? Like,
Are you referring to this section?
no, yeah, so at the very top,
Right here?
yeah, like 3 at.
Right here?
Yes, so see how you put, like, you just negative x squared, negative 1.
Oh, like this?
You just do it right at the beginning.
Yeah, because I can see that this 1 and this 5 will combine.
Okay.
So I distributed to just make my work easier.
And then you derive it, okay.
Everybody look here. Eyes on the board. Come on, look right here. I was helping someone the other day and they really made it hard for themselves. So please work the problem in the following order. First of all, when you take away the x and plug in the number, make sure you have parentheses. Okay? Second thing, resolve the powers next. Third thing, distribute the negative. Fourth, just add them. Don't think of it as subtraction. So watch. 2 cubed is 8. So this is just 8 plus negative 8 thirds. I don't think of subtraction. Think of it as addition. But don't add them yet. do these first. So this is -8. When I distribute the negative, it becomes +8. This is -8 thirds, negative again, +8 thirds, distribute back to -8 thirds. Now you have 4 things adding, just add them. But add the easy things first. Question? Hayden?
So it doesn't have to do with this, but
It's okay.
how much time would you say you should be able to finish 30 questions?
Even if I were taking the AP test, I wouldn't plan on doing all 30. Because I know if I can get, what is it? 2/3 of 20 of them, I have 5. So I don't start out trying to get them all done. I move quickly through the test, doing everything that seems easy first. And even something like this, where if I glance at it and go, oh, I know how to do that, I've done them before, but I know it's a bit of work, I just move on. I don't even start. I go to the next one. And I just tick off all that stuff that can be done fairly quickly first. If I'm working a problem and I'm finding myself getting stuck, stop, go on to something else. That's crucial. You're not trying to get them all. And so some problems I'll finish in, some problems you'll finish in 30 seconds. Some problems will take 4 minutes, but those 4-minute ones should be the last things you're doing. Does that kind of help? The average is, 30 questions, 60 minutes, 2 minutes per question, but it doesn't really work out that way. So. The other thing that happens, I heard Nathan talking about, he took the test last year, got a 5. So, there's 2 sections. There's the non-calculator and the calculator, and it can vary year to year, but some years people will come back and say, oh, this was really, really hard. Then they'll come back from this and they'll go, oh my gosh, I think I got like 13 of them. Just cruise. I've had people come back and say, I had like 10 minutes extra, just like sitting around waiting. So, you don't know. But we practice 5 to 7 of them, so you'll get a good feel for it. So. Anybody else want more time here? Cool, next one. Look at number 15. The testing time is 3 hours and 15 minutes. So you have an hour here. Our practice tests will be slightly different because they're a bit older. But you have an hour here, 45 more minutes, right? And then the FRQ section is 90 minutes. So that's 3 hours and 15 minutes. Please.
That's an hour of no calculator and then 1 minute.
Correct. So you get 30 questions, multiple choice, no calculator, 60 minutes. 15 questions, multiple choice, with your calculator, 45 minutes. Then it's 30 minutes working on the first 2 FRQ questions, kind of like what we practiced the other day. And then you get 60 minutes and you can work on any of the 6 FRQs, just no calculator.
Okay.
We'll practice this format because the test changed to this format quite a while ago. So all the FRQs now, like the first one I gave you wasn't quite, but from this point on, every FRQ I give you will be this format. For multiple choice, we'll do some of this and some of this because I don't have enough of the new ones. So. Okay, what did I say? 15? Oh, 13 caught a lot of people. Richard, have you missed 13?
Probably.
I did, but I don't.
Yeah. Right here, you gotta read. Yeah, it's time greater than 0.
Oh, what the? Wonder.
A lot of people got -1,
Yeah.
and then they were fooled into circling back.
That's what I did.
I just did 1. I thought I was so slow. I know. I was like, it's not 1. Like, oh, it's
Questions here? Cool. Oh, please. Oh, sure. Let's leave that up for a minute. There's 14. Please.
Good. So if you ever have ln to a number minus ln to a number, you divide them.
Yeah, and I put a reminder to help you. Just grab your golden notes. I always have you look on the golden notes because it really helps your memory become more permanent. Like when you find it, see it, think of it, it becomes more permanent than if you just hear me say it. So look on the golden notes right at the very bottom. You'll see the formula you need. Yeah, no worries. Good question.
Is there anything on the golden notes for the area problems we did on number, like, number 10?
Let me look. No, I don't think I, yeah, not that I didn't want to. It's always a tough call as how much you
Yeah.
want to kind of out of room. Yeah, there is.
Yes.
I think I didn't do that because each of those area problems has slightly different, so it's hard to give you like a little recipe that can fit, you know, in this.
Congratulations.
Anybody? Good here? Do I need more time? No one's waving? Okay. Here's 15.
I forgot how to do that. Kind
One comment about the game. When I text out that we're playing the game, so people come, we put problems on the board, they work the problems, we check them, we discuss them. If you're like, hey, I know I need some extra help on this kind of idea, you can come to the game as well. And instead of sitting here, you can just come sit by me. And while other people are working, I can give you some kind of small group help on a given concept or something. So your focus simply has to be on test by test. I just got to get 2 more points. Just got to find a way to get 2 more points. So 2 on the multiple choice, 2 on the FRQ. That's all you need. Questions here? Please.
So what's your goal in like number 2 as far as rearranging? You just try to get the x's and the y's like on different sides.
Oh, gotcha.
Like where's your
Yeah,
goal?
in fact, I think I wrote these solutions a couple of years ago. Since that time, I feel like I've developed a better way of talking about similar triangles. So the way I would talk about it if I were doing the problem today is I would say, okay, you'll have to look at your paper. Were you okay as far as like recognizing that you needed a similar triangle proportion?
Yeah.
So that part you have to memorize. But now it's really easy, so we'll take pebbles to Brennan. So just look at the big or the small triangle and tell me one of the side lengths.
15.
15. I like the numbers on the bottom.
Okay.
So I'm going to put a 15 here. Was that the big triangle or the little?
That's the big one.
Good. So now just give me a side of the big or another side of the little. It doesn't really matter.
A plus B.
So A plus B is so this was the height of the big. A plus B was the base of the big. So I could put I want A plus B on the top. So it doesn't really make sense to put it here. It makes better sense to go here to say, oh, I've got the base of the big over height of the big. Because now it's logical. I'll go say it again.
What does that find? Like,
Nothing yet. We're just trying to make, what we're working on is, this is a related rate problem. So we upgraded the acronym. We're now using this. So D says Danica's chart, which means I make amount and rate. And let's see, R says rates. So the rates that are described are the rate at which he walks, which is the same as the rate at which distance, in my picture, x grows. So my distance x gets longer and longer at the same rate at which he walks. So I put up here dx dt equals 4. You want to talk more about that? So in the reading it says a person who's height. Yep, we're good there. Please, David.
I don't know why I said this, but I was like, I put down like the rate of like a plus b or x plus y, whichever. It's just because I was like, oh, it's like the rate that he's walking, and that's full distance. I don't know.
See if this helps. I don't know. Picture the light in the corner. Okay. How far am I from the wall? Let's say 6 feet. If I walk 2 feet every second, I'm walking 2 feet every second, but some distance is also changing by 2 feet every second. What distance is that?
Distance away from.
Right, from me to the wall. So that's why we say that dx dt is 4. The shadow grows at a different rate. And that's what I believe they're asking you to find, correct? Yeah. So that's the second rate you list. dy over dt, that's what we're looking for. So when I'm building my similar triangle proportion, you know, he put 8 here. Well, I want, not 8, sorry, 15 in this case. So x plus y fits here. We're working on the e and the a. We're finding an equation that involves the amounts. Like that. So. Brandon, I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, no, you don't.
Okay. So this would be the small triangle. Height is 6. Base is y. Other questions here? Katie, please.
So on step 2, so you have that equation, and then like, what do you try to get to? That's what I'm confused about.
Gotcha.
Like, if you take the derivative of that first one, it won't work.
It actually does work. It's just really messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would work. That's why I said I kind of feel like I've improved how I explained to you how to build the proportion. If you build the proportion by putting the numbers on the bottom and the letters on the top, now the next step is a lot simpler. I'm just going to multiply both sides by 15, which would give me x plus y equals 15y over 6. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. So I'll end up with 6x plus 6y equals 15y. Subtracting that across, now I have a really easy equation to take the derivative of. That's really, the only objective here was I don't really want to take the derivative of that. And the algebra is so simple, I said let's do this and now take a derivative, just to make it
Do
easier.
you recommend having the numbers on the bottom?
For sure, if you're making a similar triangle proportion, the problem is just easier if you put the numbers on the bottom, letters on the top.
Okay. So I have a question. So why can't you substitute the rate? So you have your 4. Why can't you substitute that for your x? Because you're just trying to find the rate of y, right? And not the actual amount. Does that make sense? And then solve that in the quotient?
So are you thinking that we could put a 4 here?
Yeah.
So the flaw you're thinking, and keep talking until this feels good, 4 isn't the value of x, 4 is how fast x changes.
Right.
So this is like 4.
Right, but what you're trying to find is how fast y changes, right?
True.
So if you have like your x and your y values, not actually x and y, but the rate of x and y, and then can't you just solve for the... Does that make sense? That's what I did, and it worked.
Oh, if you worked, you kind of lucked
But I'm
out.
realizing now that I wasn't solving for the distance, that's always the rate.
Yeah, you don't want to plug in a rate for an amount.
So you found the amounts, and then how did you find the rates?
Okay, well, you're doing good. Look, all eyes are on every look. The question is right on target. When you're doing a related rate problem, the way the acronym works is we write down the rates first, but the only reason we're doing that is so we can figure out what amounts we need to be thinking of. Because we have to get an equation. This is kind of Hayden's question too. You've got to get an equation that uses the amounts. Like this is the most crucial part. So here we have my equation that uses the amounts. Now you're right, in this case it kind of works, but not always. Once you have the equation that shows how the amounts are related, you take the derivative of that equation to discover how the rates are related. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
In this particular problem, the amounts and the rates relate in exactly the same way.
Okay.
That's not usually true.
Okay.
We taking this test home.
So that packet is for your benefit. So that's why I say at home, you can look up the solutions, you can understand them, you can say, hey, now I understand, I'm going to do these problems again tomorrow just to get better. Caution to everyone, again, you are not going to get better by reading over things. It's a waste of time. Reading over, understanding, and then redoing, that makes you better. But just reading alone is a waste of time. You might as well not even do it.
Okay, on this one, because 15 and 6.5, I can read just produce a compatible complete. Is that a step you want to do, or is that just kind of necessary?
I would say not required, but helpful, yes. Sure. Anybody else there? Let's look at one more. We got 2 more minutes.
My watch is being so good.
24? No, sorry, 19. Was missed by several. I think last period several people noticed they'd forgotten to use the extended power rule.
You always extend the power rule, but I didn't know the extended power rule.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, gotta just guess now.
One other way to for sure get better is flashcards. Yeah, if you're just losing points because of memory, you need to do more work with your flashcards. So. Please.
Could we go over 25?
25, sure.
Do you use L'Hopital's rule or like yeah?
I don't know. Okay, look at your golden notes. Front page, middle, kind of towards the bottom. You should see the instructions for finding a limit. Right here. So I first look to see if x is approaching infinity. It's not, so I move on. Factor and divide. 1 second, Adam. Factor and divide I can't. So next step, I plug in. The sign of 0 is 0. So the top's going to be close to 0. The bottom's going to be close to 0. Close to 0 divided by close to 0 is who knows. We don't know the answer to that. So my golden notes tell me next thing, L'Hopital's rule. So that's what I did.
I just have extra pie in my room.
So I got some prior.
How come the limit because since it was 0 in the left, got it out, got it right. But you can't go in
But close to 0 divided by 0. So a limit can definitely be 0. But if you end up with close to 0 divided by close to 0,